Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a primary school curriculum. Specifically, we're walking through the chapters of a grade 4 textbook on Kel Yoga. Now, if you're thinking this is just going to be a simple review of gym class stretching, well, you might be in for a surprise. The chapters in this source material reveal a framework for holistic living that honestly puts most adult wellness routines to shame.
I mean, think about it for a second. Is yoga really just about touching your toes, or maybe twisting yourself into some complicated pretzel shape? In our modern, fast-paced world, we've kind of reduced yoga down to purely physical exercise, haven't we? We think of it as something we do for 45 minutes in a hot studio just to get a good sweat in. But the curriculum we're looking at today completely challenges that modern perception right from page 1. It takes these 9 and 10-year-olds on a journey that goes so much deeper than just physical movement.
The very first chapter of the book completely resets our expectations with this definition. Yoga is an ancient Indian science that helps us become strong, flexible, focused, and energetic, filling our minds with joy, peace, and happiness. I absolutely love this. It isn't framing yoga as just a workout. Instead, it's presented as a literal science of both the mind and the body, with the ultimate goal of generating genuine joy and focus. Okay, let's dive right into this. We're going to be covering Yoga Beyond the Mat, the 5 pillars of daily life, practicing yoga sadhana, yama, niyama, and mindset. And finally, the annual yoga plan.
Starting off with Section 1, Yoga Beyond the Mat, Setting the Foundation. What is genuinely incredible about this first chapter is that before these students are asked to perform a single physical posture, they are taught core lifestyle habits.
The core message being hammered home for these 4th graders is that holistic wellness actually starts at home. They are learning super early on that yoga is a 24/7 lifestyle. It's really about how you live your life when nobody's watching, not just how well you perform in a 40-minute class. By starting off at the home environment, this curriculum perfectly bridges the gap between school and daily life.
Moving right along to Section 2, 5 Pillars of Daily Life, the Core Framework. To make this 24/7 lifestyle practical and not just a lofty idea, the text breaks it down into 5 specific, super manageable Sanskrit pillars.
So here's the lineup for building a yogic routine. Ahara, which is food. Vihara, your daily routine. Achara, your behavior towards other people. Vichara, your thoughts. And Nidra, which is sleep. The scope of this ancient framework is just wildly impressive. It leaves absolutely no stone unturned when it comes to personal well-being.
Let's just zoom in on one of these for a second to show you the depth we're talking about. Ahara, or food. The textbook doesn't just casually say, hey, make sure you eat your vegetables. It provides strict, actionable guidelines. Eat fresh, home-cooked meals at the right time and chew well. And most notably, it explicitly tells students to eat with awareness and completely avoid distractions like the TV or gadgets. Honestly, that is an incredible life hack that most of us adults desperately need to be reminded of.
And this perfectly highlights the huge divide between this curriculum and our standard modern way of living. On the left side, we have the textbook's yogic recommendations, playing games outside, actually eating together with family, and taking a moment to pray or show some gratitude before a meal. And then on the right, we have our typical modern defaults, staring at gadgets right before bed, the TV glowing in the background during dinner, and mindlessly reaching for packaged junk food. I gotta ask, if you were to grade your own habits against this 4th grade textbook, how would you score?
All right, transitioning into Section 3, practicing yoga sadhana, moving the body. Now, after setting up that massive foundation of daily life habits, the physical practice finally enters the picture. But even here, the approach is incredibly mindful and deliberate.
This illustration from the text brilliantly captures exactly what I mean. A boy sitting cross-legged, eyes closed, just completely engaged in focused breath work. It perfectly anchors the physical practice in stillness and internal focus, rather than just athletic exertion. The physical body is moving, sure, but the mind is absolutely taking the wheel.
Yoga sadhana in this curriculum is highly diverse. You've got your asanas, which are the postures designed to balance the body and mind. And fun fact, it notes that back in grade 3, the kids learned basic animal poses like the snake and crocodile, and now they are leveling up. It also includes pranayama, or breath work, mudras, which are specific hand gestures, kriyas, or cleansing practices, and krita yoga, which throws in yogic games to keep the kids having fun and engaged.
Moving into Section 4, Yama, Niyama, and Mindset, Inner Well-Being. Physical mastery is great, but the next chapter dives straight back into the ethical and mental game. It introduces a stronger yoga, taking some incredibly complex ancient philosophy and adapting it for young, developing minds.
So, the curriculum focuses specifically on two key concepts from Stanga Yoga. From the yamas, they teach satya, which means truth, and from the niyamas, they teach santosha, which translates to contentment. And what's cool is they don't just lecture the kids on these concepts, they use interactive story completion exercises. For instance, they're given this incomplete story about a woodcutter who is just never satisfied with what he has, and the students have to discuss it and finish the story together in groups. As part of the reflection on that woodcutter story, the textbook asks the students this exact question. Does wanting more stop you from enjoying what you already have? I want you to just let that sink in for a moment. The incredible philosophical depth of that question, being presented as a standard assessment for a 9-year-old, is challenging them to deeply evaluate their own relationship with desire and gratitude. Which brings us to our final section, the annual yoga plan, structured implementation. Look, it is one thing to have a beautiful philosophy, but how do schools actually track, teach, and measure these holistic metrics in a chaotic, real-world classroom environment? Well, the source material provides a very clear roadmap.
150. That is the impressive number of physical education periods recommended annually by the National Curriculum Framework, assuming at least 5 40-minute periods per week. This is not just some quick afterthought. It is a massive, dedicated block of time woven consistently throughout the entire academic year.
Now, what's really interesting here is how they actually evaluate the students. Looking at this rubric, teachers are formally grading wellness habits. They are tracking if a student sleeps early or avoids gadgets before bed, scoring them on a scale from always all the way down to rarely. They are literally assessing the child's offline, at-home lifestyle as a core part of their academic physical education grade.
And when it comes to assessing the physical sadhana, the criteria are just as dialed in. Teachers are looking for 3 main things. 1. That the student identifies and performs the asanas correctly. 2. That they can chant Om rhythmically, requiring minor corrections at most. And 3. That they can successfully demonstrate the various mudras and pranayama breathwork. The focus is entirely on correct form, rhythm, and internal focus, rather than just sheer physical output.
So, the crucial takeaway from our explainer today is that this source material isn't just trying to churn out flexible children. It is a meticulously structured plan to build grounded, focused, and contented human beings. It completely redefines what physical education can actually be. And I want to end today by turning one of the textbook's own reflection questions directly back onto you. Do you always try to fulfill your desires, or do you enjoy what you already have? Take that thought with you today.